Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCS European Challenger. We are here at the Blizzard Arena, ready to move into the semifinals. My name is Spear Dragon. Of course, I'm joined by In Control. How's it going?
Good. Better now.
Better now?
I was sitting back there, and I was just being benched for that broadcast really ate into me, you know what I'm saying? Because that was some good games.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry, Jeff, because
Here now.
I know that you are super excited after that ZvZ,
Yes.
but we get to watch our own ZvZ.
We do.
As we move into our first semifinals match. It's going to be Lambo versus Serral as we take a look, see both of these guys already played their first matches, managed to come over both of them 3-0. Serral in a ZvZ is going to face off versus another Zerg player.
Look how the bracket matches us, Ruby. Look at that blue.
The dark blue.
Yeah.
I mean, blue is just a very solid color. You know what else is blue? Blizzard Entertainment.
Are they?
Their logo.
You're right. Look at us. Same blue.
Wow, you got a blue background over there. That's
and you
solid.
know what? DJ Perplexer doesn't want black on this set. You hear that? He doesn't want us to wear black shirts, but this blue works.
I mean,
That's it.
I can actually hear Nate in the green room right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to move into Serral versus Lambo, I was taking a look at some of the match history and stuff that was going on, and we actually do have a situation where Serral has never lost a series to Lambo. That's not a major surprise.
Okay.
But also, most recently, only just about a week ago or something, we ended up having Serral get a 3-0 versus Lambo in the Clash Invitational. And it's just like, not even getting even like the 3-0 is like especially painful there. So
yeah,
it's going to be rough.
That's what Serral does, though. I like Nate's analogy of a train. It does kind of feel like that. He dropped a map or two. Scarlet had a scary ZvZ with him. Was that Austin?
No, that was at Valencia.
Valencia. Yeah. So it can be done. It's just very rare. There was the crazy stat that I believe you said 2 Challenger weekends ago where Serral hasn't lost to a foreigner in a full set since like 6 months. That's like January or something.
Yeah, he hasn't lost a best of 3 or greater since February, where he lost to Scarlet at IEM Pyeongchang, I think it was. Yeah. But it's absurd. It's kind of crazy how long it's been since anyone has really beat Serral in the foreign scene.
Yeah. He's good.
This is
what do you read?
I'm reading Lambo saying, "This is an honor. This is the first and only ZvZ I will play on this map ever, just for you. We're going to Redshift. I forgot this was still in the map pool.
Yeah.
This is still a map.
Tell them already.
All right.
Look at me. Can you? You ever had Nate do that? Type and look at you?
Yeah.
Weird. It's like watching.
That's impressive.
You ever seen those people that can like walk with their back arched, you know, like inverted? You've never seen that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
it's like creepy like that.
It's creepy like that?
To type and look at me like that? Don't type and look at somebody. You kidding me?
It's not like some intimate thing that you're.
It is.
Typing with your.
You ever had someone type and look at you?
Yeah.
Really? When does that come up?
I'm a software developer, so like I'm used to talking with people as we type.
Fair enough. I'm not a software developer.
Okay. All right.
Software user though, Ravi?
Sometimes you are.
Am I?
You're one of the lighter software users I know.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, spawn down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have our blue Zerg player, the man to beat this season, every season of Challenger. It is Serral. Remember season 1 when we were like, who's gonna win WCSU Challenger? Yeah. That was an exciting time.
That was forever ago.
Well, spawning up here in the top left, we have our red Zerg player. He is Lambo. Next player to give his best shot at this kind of matchup.
The next offering to Serral. But this is a weird map, and I, begin to look at it and say, and already we have a big change here.
Oh, okay. So this is the kind of spine crawler thing that we've seen a lot of Zerg players do, where you try and get that creep spread going. The kind of nice thing is, what a lot of people would do is they say, okay, well, I can get my creep, or I can get a spine crawler built over on your side of the gold expansion.
Yeah.
And that's after the creep starts to expand out far enough. So you start the spine crawler there, your opponent has time to react and try and do stuff. But if you build the hatchery over here, as Serral's about to scout this out, that does mean you can build the spine crawler safely and then just plant it over on your opponent's side.
That's the second over.
Yeah.
Look at the first.
Oh, fair enough.
Where is it?
It's way over here.
Way over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said is correct. You could also put queens there, too. It's just a much more powerful position for that, and I'm trying to remember, I want to say it was like Snoot.
I was going to mine from the other side of the gold.
Well, Ravi.
Yeah?
Would you mine on the other side of that?
What?
Would you long distance mine, bud? You
Would
said,
I?
oh, he's going to, you said he's going to mine the gold from this side. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Did that one catch you off guard there, bud? You look at that base and you're like, oh wow, he's mining from it. I gotcha.
Well, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this as much. I think I saw this like at the very beginning when Redshift came out, but I haven't seen this for a really long time.
Yeah. What do you know?
You
can
know
mine for both sides of those minerals. Mr. 100
there's no gas
useless facts guy.
There's no gas geysers on this side.
You looked at this base and you're like, oh my god, the minerals work there too? These are double-sided minerals? Did anyone tell him this?
Alright, well, the spike is going to come forward. It's going to actually be able to burrow in a nice spot because that queen has already been softened up, so it will die pretty quickly if it does not get out of there. Serral already going to be losing a little bit of that mining time right now. A couple of the wings for Lambo.
It's really bad. And this is like where we start to watch the Serral magic, because he's way behind. Mining gold, even from the other side of them, is so much better than anything you can do without gold. And what does Serral do to overcome this?
Well, for now, he's going to have some of those links trying to go and threaten a counterattack. Not really going to be able to find it, but he does find those drones mining over the gold base, so it's not going to be able to get.
Do you think he's shocked that they're mining there too?
You know, I think he's very shocked. I think he's
like, oh my god!
Oh! Big hit there for Serral. That Baneling getting a massive connection.
They're fighting in the forest. Dangerous place.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, Baneling connection. Ooh,
This is the part,
oh my
though.
god.
I don't have the stomach for it. Like, whenever I off-race a Zerg, the Ling-Baneling battle is just...
I think it's enough that there are people who would play Zerg, but they decided, I don't want to be a Zerg main because of ZvZ.
You might be right.
Okay, well, one of these Banelings going to get picked off, but that is buying a little bit of space for Lambo to morph in a couple more Banelings and get ready to get more aggressive. Behind all of this, there was another hatchery made. Ooh, the Baneling going off.
He's close. There's the two. Here comes a second queen.
Lambo has a couple of Banelings back at home as well for his own defensive purposes. Looks like he is going to be able to push Serral back for now. Drone gets picked off.
Yep.
That gold base is about to fall now, but is that...
They don't even try. The Broodlings, they know they can't get over it, so they just don't even try. It's kind of like that movie Serenity, when they put the air packs and people got so complacent that they just died from not doing anything. You ever see Serenity?
That was the Firefly movie.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
I don't remember the scene you're talking about.
My god. It's the premise for the whole movie.
You know, that was like the first time you've made like a movie reference.
That you were
and I actually saw the movie, but I still don't get it.
But then you still didn't get it.
I still didn't get it. Oh.
Yeah, well.
Do you think, is this, so Serral is still down now about 7 workers.
Yeah.
But he is not really investing into the Ro4, whereas it does look like Lambo is. Do you like the situation for Lambo still a lot, or?
To me, no. I don't dislike it, but it's not as advantageous at first look.
Oh boy. Well, Serral loses all of his Banelings there, so it's gonna be hard for him to threaten this gold now for a bit.
Yeah.
And he's been committing to Lings and Banelings, so losing a bunch of them is not exactly a great sign for him.
The tough thing here for Lambo that Serral is exploiting, and this is, I asked the question, how does he come back? This is what he's doing, is there is no natural expansion for Lambo, so these Lings get into the main. They're going to chew up some of the drones. They're at least not mining, so even if just a couple drones died, in fact, I think none did die, the constant attention, the grabbing of them, that's all painful. It sucks to do that.
Yeah, Lambo going to be able to eventually chase around those Lings and get them pushed back. But at the same time, Serral has another massive flood of Lings, and guess what is not going to be over by the gold base? A lot of units to defend. There are a handful of roaches here. The lings are starting to come forward, but there are the banelings for Serral. Gonna be able to push those lings back. The queens and the roaches all get taken out here. The gold base is not mining anymore.
Well, it's at best not mining. There's actually more danger involved. A lot of lings collide into that baneling and do die. The baneling production being disrupted here as well as they try to kind of aggressively morph there.
Oh, baneling! Doesn't quite get the connection off on most of those drones, but still manages to soften up enough of them. 5 workers go down, and Serral, for the first time in a while, takes the drone lead.
Yeah. Now here's the problem. Roaches are coming out for Lambo, and those are strong. They're great against lings, but unless he clogs up the ramp up in the main, he's going to have a leaky ship on his hands. He's going to try to be the aggressor here. And I understand the logic, but I'm just so worried that if he pulls back or decides against it, that the lings of Serral can go counterattack, exactly like that.
All right, these roaches are already getting surrounded. The Ravager ends up falling there, and Lambo has a couple of his own banelings ready to try and help out for a bit, but a lot of them have already been taken out. There's only 2 left over. He has to morph in a few more, but this is buying time for Serral. And oh my god, Serral actually comes back from that situation.
I kind of feel, this is not to make fun of you, that there's stuff happening off screen that we didn't see a little bit.
Ooh, was there?
It was 60 supply to 36 at the end. And I'm like, I definitely saw like 3 roaches
or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. To be fair, I'm not sure why, but I blame Zombie Grub. I feel like, so here's what I would say. If she was here, she would have caught it, but she's not. Whose fault is that?
Nathanius's?
Yes. Thank you.
There we go.
You're catching on.
All right. Well, still surprising, though, that that was a situation where Serral looked like he had roughly the same amount of tools as Lambo, had 7 drones less.
And won.
And still managed to come back and win. That's Serral for you.
And I'm just constantly, again, I hear myself, I hear ourselves saying this, and I know for our viewers, maybe some get tired of it. We always say that, though, but I've actually noticed no one doubts
I think everyone feels it.
Yeah, no one's like, God, stop talking about Serral. There's other people. No, they get it. Anyways, my point is, this is a weird situation. It's a weird map. You don't see it very often. It's a map that's out of the map pool, by the way, in current ladders. So you'd have to train this with previous ladder practice and then also get people to play this map for you right now, which would be like the other people you're playing against WCS. It's very tough. Anyways, and still, Serral's like, I know exactly what to do in this situation. I am prepared. I think your weakness is that you'll have to defend your main and your gold at the same time. Yeah. I'll do ling run-bys. He stayed low-tech the entire time. Like, everything about it, just very, very impressive.
That's what's so frustrating, I think, about watching or, like, seeing someone play against Serral.
Can you invite me, by the way? I was invited, but then it was like,
no. I was going to say, that's so weird because I definitely joined off of you. But I was going to say, the frustrating thing about watching Serral is that there aren't those major weaknesses. I was talking with Nathanius about this, how Neeb last year, people would say, oh, you know, there's this weakness, though. In the early game, he seems to die to weird pressures sometimes. And I feel like Serral just doesn't show that weakness. It doesn't feel like it's there.
Yeah, I think his only weakness is interesting interviews so far that we've been able to kind of find out.
He's started getting better at the champagne ceremonies, though.
Well, no, he aced it last time. That was amazing. But a Finnish person being able to pry open alcohol out of a bottle doesn't surprise me too much, I don't think.
He struggled it a little bit originally.
He's a young guy, but it's in his blood. Literally, alcohol can get in your blood. Did you know
that's how alcohol works?
Yeah, it does. That is how it works. Today you guys learned. I know a lot of you have not done that. I love this picture of Serral, by the way.
He just looks like a villain.
So good.
He just looks like a villain there.
He looks like, yeah, a villain in particular, but like a
Sith Lord.
It's what Anakin Skywalker should have been, you know, in the first, well, not the first, but the original 1 through 3. Yeah. I hate you. But if Serral says that, it's like, I hate you, and you're like, oh my god, I believe it. Whoa. Introduce this guy.
Well, spawning up here in the top right, we have our red Zerg player currently sitting down 0-1. It is Lambo.
Do you know where his name comes from?
Lamborghinis?
Yes, correct.
Oh, cool.
That's it.
All right, spawning down here in the bottom left, we have our blue Zerg player. He is NC Sports' Serral.
And do you know where his name comes from?
No.
Not a clue. Me neither. Sounds
Glad
cool,
we had
though.
that talk.
I'm glad he didn't name himself like Juna, you know? Like so many...
Juna?
You're right, yeah.
Oh, like Yona?
Yeah, okay. Okay, Ravi.
Okay, come on. That. You have problems pronouncing
my God,
name.
did you pronounce the J that way? Oh, God. Anyways, before I got destroyed.
I feel like I just got baited.
Well, I feel like I got baited, but there's so many people out there where like BattleNet flips up. It's like, what would you like your name to be? And they're like, well, my parents called me Timmy. So they just put like Timmy, but they're like, no, that's boring. Let's add 89, my birth date in there. Timmy 89, done. But not you. You went with Fear Dragon. Where did that
I was
come
born
from?
in '64.
That would be so cool.
I like it.
Just this like incredibly young looking, really old guy.
Possibly the stupidest joke I have ever told you is the one that I got the best laugh out of.
I was born on 64. I liked it. But what's a Fear Dragon? Like, what is that? Your favorite Sobe flavor?
Well, Ice Dragon was taken. Ice Dragon at hotmail.com. So I went with Fear Dragon instead.
Hotmail user. Very good.
Yeah. All right, we got our first 6 lings making their way across the map. Lambo actually going to invest in a spine crawler, interestingly enough. I mean, he has Zergling's speed on the way, although it's coming out a lot later. Yeah. This is going to be causing a bit of a problem.
Bit of a ruckus, you might say.
Already losing one of the drones. Spine crawler is going to complete, though, and force Serral back for now. But Serral did invest into quite a few of these lings. Has the banelings being morphed in. He does not have an expansion. And Lambo at this point should have a pretty good idea of what he's up against as he sees all the banelings.
I like that Serral's gotten so good that he's kind of realized that playing further into the game is a waste of his time.
Oh, that's what he realized versus
less wins that he could get on the ladder, so he's just going to go for it.
Okay, Baneling's actually going to try and bust through the front. He does get a beautiful Baneling connection on most of the lings. A Spine Crawler is getting close to finishing up. The Queens are actually not going down that quickly, so Serral may not actually be able to bust in here with that many lings.
No. First you don't succeed.
Oh, another Baneling does end up falling. There's only 3 lings inside the main base, and Zergling speed is about to kick in here for Lambo, and that's going to make it a lot easier for him to clean up the stray lings, but there are still a few more flooding at the front. Serral's not done with the aggression yet.
Serral's in a lot of trouble here. There is no second hatch for him. His opponent has 2 Spine Crawlers, so running through that or even trying to Baneling bust it is a fool's errand. Serral is about to show us a rare loss screen from him. He's going to go for it again. Behind this, there's no drones, there's no hatch. He's just pouring everything into this, and it just can't happen. No way.
If Serral wins this game, that's going to be one of the most demotivating game number 2s I think I will have ever witnessed for Lambo.
You won't need to worry.
All right, Banelings are all taken care of. A couple of lings make their way into the main base, and they are actually going to outnumber the lings of Lambo for now, but there are going to be some popping out in the main base very soon.
Equal army supply, slight drone advantage for Lambo. It's just the fact that he has that second hatch, and it's the more queens coming out, by the way, as well. That's the big issue. Now, if Serral could do something, it would be to sneak off somehow. But there's just not that much going on, so even the sneak off part seems pretty weird. And then he's running down to the natural, but that's just death. There's Spine Crawlers there.
And still not looking to actually take a natural expansion of his own. He's got a few lings of Lambo over at his potential natural expansion bases that are continuously scouting around. Yeah.
Lambo right there, by seeing that, knows the game gets simplified incredibly. He's like, you want a drone? You drone. I will already have the hatch up. Yep, he makes the Baneling nest. And there is drones coming up behind this for Serral, so I thought he was just going to tap out, because there's just... It's funny, because you look at the numbers, and it's like, what are you talking about, Jeff? He's only down 3 or 4 supply. Yeah, but it's going to go pretty bonkers here in a little bit. The whole time that he's making that hatchery is time that injects are going down on twice the number of hatcheries. Lambo's going to fly ahead.
Okay, Serral has a couple of Banelings still left over, so he's going to be fine on the defensive. He can safely drone and not really worry about major ling counterattacks or anything like that. Lambo, of course, is fine also just droning up, because like you said, he actually has a finished up natural expansion. Serral's going to take the in-base natural, which will get scouted out immediately by that Overlord, by the way.
I guess one of the only ways I could see, I mean, this is either like brilliant or it's death for Lambo. He's actually making just a ton of lings, and he wants to end it. But the nice thing, and he is switching into drones there as well, but the nice thing about that is you're forcing your opponent to do something that they can't really afford to do.
I'm not as much a fan of it just because of 16-bit and the fact that he saw Serral took the in-base natural, so really he just has to defend a very small ramp with banelings against pure lings, and I don't know. I'm not as much a fan of it for Lambo.
Well, I think what happened was Lambo was making lings, seeing if he'd take the low ground hatch, but he didn't. So now he's backing off and droning, and he's even taking his own in-base expansion. He's like, that's fine, I'll just keep my lead.
Okay, Serral is about to finish up his lair a good bit ahead of Lambo, and that is maybe where he's going to start to find a potential advantage to secure. We'll see what he does with that lair very soon. It's going to be the Spire play. Okay. He'll have those 2 bases. He just really doesn't have the drone count to actually mine much gas with, though.
Not yet.
Yeah, he's eventually going to get there, but even still, it's he's not going to be banking a lot of gas right now. He's even making another extra baneling just because he ended up having to use one on the lings counterattacking him.
It's bad, but this is a good call. It is going to give him some semblance of map control. My fear is that the natural kind of reaction for people is that they're going to have a Ro4, and they'll usually have an Evo chamber, probably their own lair. Mutas show up. I mean, this is all not happening yet, by the way. I'm talking about the future. Mutas show up, and you're like, oh no, well, I'm just going to make 20 roaches and just kind of walk across the map. And if you took that low ground base, it's dead. Holding the ramp with lings and banelings against that, impossible. And then all the time, the mutas are spinning, trying to clean up those roaches. And there's not going to be like 20 mutas, by the way. There's going to be like 8 or 9. That's time where Lambo secures 3 bases, has a 20 drone lead, gets hydras out, spore crawlers, all that kind of stuff. Very tough.
Well, the lair is going to be a lot later on here for Lambo. So that does mean that with the mutas coming out, the reaction that you were talking about, like the hydras and everything, are going to be coming out a good bit later as well, potentially.
Great scout.
He does sees the Spire right as it pops. The mutas are going to be on the way. There's only 4 being made, though.
Yeah, and that's all I can afford. Look at his gas. There's a 5th one.
Yeah, he just didn't really actually have much gas mining until just recently.
Yeah, like you were saying. But it is still, it's going to get him some map control, maybe a few overlords. He can start to take that 3rd, and then if he can get any damage done on Lambo's side of the map, that's of course wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the mutas also just because a lot of the time we talk about how Roach versus Roach or ZvZ is oftentimes just a numbers game, but by, ooh, this is interesting. Going for the Carapace upgrade, maybe anticipating that Lambo is also going for a Spire, as that's usually the only time you end up seeing Carapace upgrade coming out.
I think it's a little bit more likely that he's just, that's a sign that he's doubling down and he's going to go mass mutas. He's not switching to roaches, he's not going lurker, he's just going to go pure mutas.
Okay.
And maybe he'll hide the number, or maybe he just adds to him, doesn't care. But it is enough weirdness. This is a giant map, so getting across it's really hard. If you can get some banelings on top of the hydras or something like that, that's fantastic. And then a lot of Zergs are like, oh my god, mass mutas, well I have to have infestors. And that buys you a lot of time.
Well, mutas are finding little bits and pieces of damage. They find a drone, they find a creep tumor, they find a couple of banelings, loses one of the mutas, unfortunately. And remember, he really just does not have many mutas to spare. He's already down from 5 to 4, soon to be back up to 5 as another one reinforces across the map. But
another 2, so how many is that, Ruby?
Well, those 2 haven't popped yet, so it'll be 7 soon.
And then there's 2 more, so... Look at
like,
the Overlord.
You're saying like a gotcha? Oh. Okay,
yeah,
turns around. He's gonna get 2 of them. Not bad.
It's like, see, like, he lost 1, so he's down to 4. He's building 1 more of those, so he'll get back up to 5. And I was like, when does it end?
Like we have kids that are still learning math.
You're right, and we're helping them. I like it. Now the queens, of course, one of the nice things we see some players do is load up an Overlord with 4 or 8 queens or whatever, just fly them across the map. But
all right, really investing into that lurker den though. Looks like that is going to be the way that Lambo likely tries to find the end for the game. As lurkers are going to be pretty difficult for just a player that only really has a few mutas and not even that large of a ground force to actually try and defend against.
No ground force, man. I'm telling you. Actually, as I said, of course.
Literal.
Lurker den.
Yeah, got up the... How do you feel about the idea of a lurker den that's not really supported by that much ground, but the mutas are just there to try and keep you at home, and if you try and commit across the map with an army, you just kind of get the lurkers.
That's exactly right. In fact, it's very likely that Lambo doesn't bring detection the first time. Like if he did, that's like super super safe and like I'm saying, it's just unlikely. So
and you can snipe that off with the mutas anyways.
Yeah, you could. It's not ideal, but you're right. But it shows up and it's like, oh, I actually can't attack at all. And meanwhile, the mutas are doing this the whole time.
They're doing really good damage right now. They picked off a queen. They're continuing to pick away out of some of these drones. The Hydra count is just really not there yet. It's 8 out now, but even just dancing between the 4th and the natural is so annoying.
Serral's so good, man. He really is. The supplies have equaled up here. The drone count's actually dead even. Sure, he doesn't have a 4th base up yet, and that is a problem. But I even just like the game plan of the lurkers. Like I said, it's just such a good time buyer, and it will get well, no, it didn't get scouted here. Excuse me. No, and it's not going to be expected at all. Like when he shows up there, he's saying, "Oh, you're not making roaches." Oh, okay. So I will power up this big army, and I'm going to show up. And that's when, and I'll tell you what, Serral, listen. If you want to make me a lifetime fan, hold position lurkers. It never happens. Nobody ever does it.
Okay, lurker is going to get scouted by the mutas. They're okay. Not going to be able to. They might be able to snag some of these lurkers. Gets a Hydra.
Bigger fish to fry. If you can kill the Hydras, cut off reinforcements.
Even just pulling them back.
7 lurkers behind this. 7, and there is an overseer with it, by the way. Worth mentioning.
Ooh, okay.
That's so good from Lambo. Like so many players would just not bring it. Like I'm facing mutas, man. There's nothing else. Still can't crack that, though.
Going to be very important. There's not a whole lot of buffer here for Serral, so it really is just about the lurkers and the mutas being able to do a whole lot. But if he's able to get on top of those lurkers quickly enough, you can snipe them off one by one. But the mutas are actually forcing the entire army of Lambo to pull back.
Well, the mutas and the lurkers, it's a 1-2 punch. So he looks at the lurkers and he's like, that's like 8 or 9 lurkers. And you can have 8 or 9 of your own lurkers, but it's still almost impossible to crack because it's those first 2 waves will go the way of the guy that's sieged in. And when your army is roaches and lurkers and supported by Hydras, who don't take bonus damage against those lurkers, but are just so soft anyways that it's just enough, it's a very tough fight. So Lambo second-guessing himself and pulls back.
Man, and Serral actually going to take a somewhat hidden 4th base and takes a normal-ish 5th base.
And that is the one mistake I would say of what Lambo just did decision-making wise. The muta count's not super scary. If this had if this was adding more and it was 10 more mutas, that can win an open fight. As it is, his handful of Hydras, as long as he's reinforcing him, could take that. So go shop and make sure that he never takes a 4th. By going back like this, he's giving that map control to Serral, who can now defend those bases with lurkers.
Yeah, he tried to move down with a handful of units, but it looks like he's regrouped them all back up together. Overseer is over here now for Serral, so he can actually try and find not only the creep tumors, but also some of those lurkers if they end up being a little too vulnerable.
And that would suck.
Ooh, Vipers are going to be about to finish up here for Lambo, though. And that is going to be one nice way to try and push some of those mutas back. Those parasitic bombs can be annoying.
Oh, yeah. And the amazing thing is, despite having +1 attack and armor for air, Serral's backed off of it, and that's amazing. It is late game, it is hive tech time, and to your point, Parasitic Bomb is just a menace to those mutas. So if he was adding more and more mutas, and this is how passive he was playing, he'd just die at hive tech. There's no fighting that. But he's not. He's invested into a ground army.
Yeah, has that lurker den, has not only just the lurkers now he actually has a ground buffer with the roaches and the
and he actually canceled Carapace, by the way.
Yeah, he canceled Carapace and he ended up getting a +1 missile attack instead.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. I guess just preparing and okay, Adaptive Talents coming down for Lambos. Get into that hive tech. And actually Serral already has his on the way as well, so man, I cannot believe what a game Serral's turned this into.
Yeah. Pretty good player.
Gonna find not too much over here. Softens up the hatchery. Just as annoying, just keeping Lambo occupied.
Here they come. The Vipers are out. They're behind that army.
They're both maxed out as well.
Yep, in which case you kind of want to lose the mutas, by the way, too.
Trading them out effectively, though, in a way that you just aren't suddenly down a bunch of supply, and you give your opponent too much time to go attack. Oh, ducks are going to be pretty nice, yeah.
It's okay.
Mixes that way up the ramp.
Does he, though?
No. He almost did. He's starting to.
Oh, that poor duck didn't do it.
The mutas are, by the way, working away at that hatchery. It's actually gotten very low right now. Remember, there's not exactly reinforcements coming out because Lambo's not losing supply, and he doesn't have reinforcements coming across the map. So those mutas just go more or less uncontested there.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if he deep dives with them and buys time, but also says, kill him, take him.
Yep. Killing off a few more roaches over there. The muta's going to be able to snipe off the roach warren. This is an extra little annoyance there. And still can make a bunch of the hydras, still can make the lurkers. Ooh, a couple of lurkers getting really cheeky with trying to Bro inside the middle line.
Yeah, it's late game. So you look at that and you go, that's, you know, it's too bad it didn't work, but it didn't hurt Serral. They're both maxed, like you pointed out, and building on a bank. So try it. I'm surprised he's actually keeping the mutas alive. I guess they're finding stuff, right? They killed this base a few times, and they've gotten some drones.
Yeah, I think he still also probably wants to buy at least another minute or so while he gets up the energy for the Vipers, even if he is maxed out. Let some of those upgrades finish. Is he really? He shouldn't. This gets a little weird. He doesn't necessarily know this just yet, but there's +3 missile attack on the way now for Lambo, and his is going to be very far behind.
Yep, and it's going to be a pretty big upgrade advantage there, yeah. Actually, one carapace about to finish for Serral. Still behind.
Still behind, but not as much as we originally thought. Well, a lot of those Hydras are going to be moving their way across the map. It looks like
the Viper count is huge.
It's pretty massive. All the mutas are over here now, so the Viper's going to be nice for the Abducts. Ooh, the mutas. Do you think you just dive on the Vipers with the mutas?
They'll disappear in 2 seconds, but sure,
yeah.
Try it.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to try and find some value for them, I guess.
Ooh, I don't like Serral's positioning. Some of those lurkers are on top of the hatchery. The forward ones can get abducted pretty easily.
Ooh, the Vipers.
Oh my god.
Both of them actually end up
abducting each other.
I think Lambo just abducted his own Viper for a moment.
Importantly, though, the lurkers are still there, so Lambo's going to fight this. He's got a good concave.
Yeah, there are a lot of lurkers still here, and the hatchery's actually getting softened up by the Vipers of Serral. He's eating away his own hatchery's hit points because he knows these lurkers are doing so much damage to those Hydras.
What a weird fight, right? Like, we look at that and we're like, who's winning? It's like it was a perfect concave, way more units for Lambo. The lurkers are so strong, he has to back out of there, and I think that was the right call.
Yeah.
Okay. Behind this, there's no bank for Serral, by the way, where there is still a bank for the maxed out Lambo who just rebuilt a bunch.
Yeah, a little bit of a bank starting to build up there. +3 Carapace going to be coming out very soon for Lambo as well, so he's still going to maintain a pretty solid upgrade advantage even after +3 missile attack finishes here for Serral. But here comes round 2. Lambo starting to move forward. The Hydra's already eaten a lot of shots from those lurkers, and Abducts come forward. Looks like Serral's getting the better end of a lot of these lurker battles. Blinding Cloud's coming down. Oh my god, Lambo just cannot catch a break here. Yeah. Oh, he doesn't have the... Wait, does Serral not have the detection for it? He doesn't. Bad. He's trying to morph in the Overseers.
2 lurkers.
Yeah.
The Abducts for Serral have been significantly better. Lambo does get his pound of flesh, though, as he abducts a lot of the Vipers.
Oh!
Called for it. We got one.
Yeah, no need to dive if he can just continue to... I'm just amazed at how good of a job he's done at keeping these mutas alive at a point in the game where most people would say, I just don't need these anymore. This is taken away from my army supply. He's still finding value with them.
Absolutely. Serral's hanging in there. Gets this, what do you want to call it, 9 o'clock base up and going as well. It's his 5th base. He never actually lost out of the base that's been besieged almost the entire game. It's low, it's battered. There's some horror stories there. The drones still to this day mutter about lurkers, but other than that, he never lost it, like us mere mortals normally do.
Man, so this composition from Lambo, he just has so many Hydras, and I guess adding in the lurkers, this is kind of his big end game. I'm not really sure what the big transition would be anyways off of this, but...
It's 8 Overseers, by the way. 8! What?
It's one of those things. It's one of those things where you have a banking. You're like, you know what? Never again. There's that one game where my Overseer my Overseer got sniped off that one game, and just never letting it happen again. Both these players have a lot of them. I think it's probably pretty easy to accidentally just let the Overseer wander a little too far forward, even with 3 of them or something. With so many Hydras.
Well, I get it, but 8. 8's like you fell asleep with the wheel for an hour.
He just abducted the Overseers. Muta's going after the Evolution Tumors. It would be great if they went after the Lurkerden. Oh yeah, Hydroden.
Yeah, we got the Hydrodens getting remade.
Oh, if he kills the Lurkerden and then gets the Hydroden again, that's going to be really annoying.
Yes, it will be.
Well, that's just because it completely resets.
Oh my god, if he kills these things, that'll annoy him.
In the sense that the Lurkerden will be so much further off.
You're fine, I like it.
Okay.
I'm in this weird place where, like, the things we say as commentators, I hear it louder.
Fair enough.
Every GSL. Now, Dan, I'm not entirely sure that we'll see the same strategy. What do you think? He's like, oh, I don't know. I guess we could. There's people at home going, yeah, I don't know. Will we? Oh, man, I don't know.
That's
and I'm at home and I'm like, what is that? Why do we even say that?
Looks like Lambo was not anticipating a lot of the lurkers over there and ends up losing quite a bit. Can you not?
I'm sorry.
Oh, no cancel on that hatchery.
No cancel!
6 mutos managed to take down a hatchery.
Serral's incredible, by the way.
This is like, this game has been absurd.
Let's all remember for a second here that he was on 1 hatch versus 2.
With being down 3 or 4 workers.
And 2 hatches versus 3. Went mutas, just got map control, nothing super special about it. And now he's here, and he's gonna win this game. You know, like absolutely. He's not yet, by the way. I'm not looking at this saying Lambo's dead. I'm just saying I have that kind of confidence in Serral.
Hydra's going for a big counterattack. They might actually be able to snipe off a lot of the tech here for Serral, which is going to hurt his ability to remax. In fact, it does pull Serral all the way back home. Those mutas are finally seeing the end of their life.
Because the mutas it's not nearly as flashy, and they're dead now, but they already killed all the tech, so it's getting remade. This is really good for Lambo, though. I don't want to say otherwise. He just got the hive, and there's very little you can say that doesn't do incredible damage. I think behind this is lurkers are dying, by the way. We're not seeing that again.
Lurkers? Are they though?
Are they though?
Oh, now they are. And Serral is giving up his bases because I guess he saw that there was an attack coming across the map. No, he's going for his own? What do you see?
I think he left the lurkers behind, and he's just going after this army that's coming out from Lambo.
Did he leave? Oh, he left them all way back over there.
Yeah.
He's picking up a lot of
behind though. Look at the supply and stuff. He's in trouble.
He's extremely behind, but a lot of that, a decent amount of that is in the worker supply.
All right.
His army is still pretty solid. And those lurkers, okay, they're broken.
Are they hold this time? No.
I can't really.
Nobody does that.
Yeah.
It's an actual ability they have, by the way. He could kill a hatch. Ah! He didn't do it. Okay.
He was very close to it.
What if he abducted the Hydra before it died and sniped the hatch?
The longer that Serral waits here, okay, there are some really good blinding clouds, and he's going to obliterate those Hydras. So now is the time that he can move across the map, finally? Because, I mean, the longer he waits, the better of a situation Lamb is going to be in with the superior economy. He's even getting up a Nidustorm. I actually really like that.
Do you?
Yeah, just because the way that Serral probably tries to do this is he has to win the game soon, right?
I think people should suck on their gases, by the way, before their hatchers. This is a quick aside.
That always bugs me. All right, hatch goes down. Serral's down to 2 bases, 2.5 if you count this one that's about to finish. But even with 35 workers, he has got to take an amazing engagement.
The Vipers! The Vipers!
All right, getting some pulls on Vipers. They're trading out. It looks like both these players are more or less out of energy, though. And Serral's the one on the timer, so he needs to make something happen soon.
Can you show me the lurker count? Because I feel like Serral has a lot more.
Does? Yeah, he does. 7 versus 1.
7 times the number. Robbie?
Crunch those numbers?
I crunched that immediately. I crunched
7
so
divided
fast.
by 1?
Yes. Comes up 7 every time, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, one lurker is going to be able to deny mining from his bottom right-hand base. You know, Serral trying to position himself around. I'm trying to see what are the bases that are...
Is that the one lurker?
It's the one lurker.
No, up top. To the right?
Yeah, he's got plenty of lurkers coming up soon. I was going to say, like, what are the mining bases? This base is starting to get pretty close to mined out, and this base is really the only other major mining base here for Lambo. Serral, he lost his main base, but he kept alive his newer, fresher expansions.
Yeah. Robbie, what if instead of losing health when you sucked on a building, it got smaller? Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be like a buff.
Yeah. What? No.
If it was smaller?
Suck on your hatchery, get smaller?
Oh, I guess actually your mining would become less efficient.
Drones can't fit into a gas, it's too small. It's known. Now it's time for Serral to counterattack.
Well, Lambo's going to find a little bit of damage over here at this base. Not really going to be able to get too much mining up over there.
And now it's time for him to not counterattack.
Well, I did not have the army for that, I guess. Really, really strange situation. Serral has to take a bit of time, pull back, and clean up that lurker situation over by one of his bases. He does have more drones that have been made recently, though, so he's up to 43 now. Seems like he's trying to get back up in a bit of an economy. He's going to spot this army. He needs to get in position, because remember, this hatchery, this hive, is basically down to 250 hit points. And he's going for a counterattack, so he's not actually going to be back in time to defend this.
Your observing style makes it really exciting. He needs to get back here. Then you look, you're like, well, he's not doing it, so.
Well, Lurker is getting a lot of damage done at the same time.
Ducks, the big fight, Robbie. What are you doing?
There's no big fight yet. I'm here. I'm here in time.
A little bit worried. Blinding Cloud's going down.
And there's no fight because of it.
There's the Ducks.
Okay. Ooh.
Lurkers. Oh, but one escapes.
It is 8-4 Lurkers right now. The Hydras are getting quite a bit done. He's still got a handful of these Lurkers also on this side of the map as well. So he can now get a main base.
Yeah, I would not mind ZvZ if it was like this all the time.
This is pretty nutty. And now, now he's just going to try and get this hatchery as low as possible. Nidus Worm comes out. Is he going to try and escape with any drones or something? What's even in there? There's nothing there yet.
It's like a backdoor avenue, I guess.
Oh! I think it's actually a defensive Nidus Swarm. He was going to Nidus Swarm to the middle of the map so he could get back home to defend, I think.
There you go, Robbie. That's exactly what I just said.
Well, that's not a backdoor Nidus. A backdoor Nidus is like you put it in the backdoor of your opponent.
Well, the nice thing about backdooring, Robbie, is you can backdoor your opponent. You can backdoor yourself.
That's a little too meta for me. Backdooring yourself. Viper pulls are going off. Both these players. Ooh, we end up seeing Lambo lose almost every single one of those Vipers. Was that all of them? Yeah. Serral keeps alive 4 of them. So once again, getting the better end of those trades.
And now it's time to lurker up.
Lambo, effectively.
That's it.
This is his base. This is his mining base. He has this base coming up, but even that one's not going to mine that effectively.
Big fight.
What time?
We got time, he says. Don't worry. What died? What did we miss?
It's just changelings.
They leave that kind of mess behind?
Yeah, man.
Dang.
I think it's easy to transform into.
Look at this whole army chasing 2 lurkers, by the way. Get over here.
Well, remember, to him, he might have just seen the glimmer of 2 lurkers and thought it was the whole army. He doesn't know. Lurkers are actually just going to sit by the zone like a watchtower.
I think it should be active when you're underground, by the way. When you burrow. You know what I'm saying?
What activates the Zelnanga Watchtower?
Great question. Apparently being above ground, but that is above groundest. What about the below ground?
But not too far above ground.
But it's
because air units don't activate.
Here's my problem with it. It's biased against Zerg. They are the only ones that can burrow things. Oh, I guess no Widow Mine.
Protoss never got anything that burrowed.
No.
That's unfortunate.
We don't do that.
We don't
invisible. We get invisible sometimes, but we don't do that.
Oh, really nice concave here for Lambo, but he's not going to be the one fighting with his own lurkers. A lot of blinding clouds coming down on both sides, and we end up seeing all of the lurkers for Serral getting blinding clouded. But I think that Serral just has a little bit more.
It's a messy fight.
Oh,
I think he lost.
No, Lambo's actually the one leading up a good amount of supply. There's some damage happening here with the lurkers. Going to be able to take out that hatchery. But Serral is sitting down 62 army supply to 112.
112. There's that back door. Not going to use it, though.
No.
He's a front door kind of guy, Lambo is. His lurker counterattack. Jiminy Christmas.
His lurker counterattacks where they can only defend with a lurker.
Hey, is that right side base? No, it's not low, right?
The right side base?
Lambo.
No.
Oh, it is. Down to 4 mineral piles.
Oh, low on minerals, yeah.
Well,
low
what?
Low in health.
Low in height? Is that base short?
No, low in health because of the Vipers.
Ah, fair enough.
Like Serral.
Yeah, you're right.
Serral keeps his bases pretty low in health.
Yeah, he does. He sucks on them.
All right, Lurker's starting to burrow a little bit more aggressively. Lambo situating himself in a position to try and get some damage on. Pulling a Viper, full energy one. There's only one Viper left over. Blinding Cloud does come down. It's going to keep Serral out of this base in that hive.
Oh my god, snipe the Overseer. There's only one. Snipe it. This is the stupidest fight. Oh no, there's more.
Oh my god, how did Serral win that? How did Serral win that?
Well, I'll tell you how. Lambo jumped through a choke of space into 5 lurkers. Wow. That was a really cool game. Awesome
That was a
comeback.
really cool game, but what that?
Well, here's what happened. Like, that whole game, beautiful, back and forth. Lambo, like, beating his chest. He's Godzilla. Or no, he's King Kong. Serral's Godzilla, and he's just beating, you know, Godzilla the entire game. But then in this movie, it ends with King Kong grabbing, like, 2 skyscrapers and running at him, tripping, falling, and stabbing himself with them in the end. And it just goes, and it just plays, you know, the Godzilla song or whatever, like,
The Godzilla song.
and it's just over, and people are like, "What? Is that it?" Yeah, Godzilla just killed himself, or King Kong. Anyways, it's a terrible example,
brutal.
but Lambo was way ahead. Has a great concave against a hatchery that if you sneeze on it, dies. Not even hatchery, a hive. Excuse me.
Hive.
And gives up that space and jumps in on top of the army. And here's part of it, though, by the way. Blinding Cloud has such a frustrating mechanic because it's like, if you get under it, the computer's so smart, it's like, well, let's get somewhere where we can shoot, shall we? And they just shove forward, and they just died.
I think I feel like there must have been more harassment or something that was happening with those 3 lurkers, and Lambo was looking.
Possible. Yeah.
Anything is possible. I mean, I could have missed. I could have missed.
There was.
We'll just assume, yeah.
There's so many stories going on in that game that we
followed 1 in 10 of them.
I liked you every time that you're like, we had time. Don't rush me,
So
okay?
guys,
I'll get to the fight when I get to the fight, okay?
So guys, the important takeaway here is that if you buy enough of the war chest, we can afford an observer for Challenger. And then you guys can actually see the games.
Well, you're doing a fine job, I thought. That was a great game. It was really cool.
That was a really, really cool game. But man, is that got to be a frustrating game for Lambo, because there's no part in any pro gamer's body that does not think, I should have won that game like 3 minutes in.
And the thing is, yeah, okay, so that last fight went really poorly, and probably Lambo should have done something very differently there. But for the rest of it, annoyingly, Serral is down in workers, down in army, down in bases the entire time. But every counterattack, every engagement, he's getting the better abducts, he's getting the better blinding clouds, he's got the better concave. He's losing things, but because he's just consistently making the right choices, even though while being behind, he's like kind of clawing back. It's just amazing to watch.
Okay, we have our 3rd map picked out and decided. It's going to be Dreamcatcher heading into game number 3. Lambo really, I'm sure, would love to just be able to at least say he can put one on the board. Can say he went down with a fight, like a really strong fight.
Yeah.
As that last game was a strong fight, but it's still from a frustrating spot. So here we go. We're hopping into it.
Dreamcatcher. Serral, by the way, we didn't really talk about this, looking for a 4-peat. Is it 4? No, there's 3 WCS challengers we had. We didn't have one for...
There was technically a qualifier.
I wasn't there, so I don't count it.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
He's looking to 3-peat in Challenger on his way to 4-peating is what I'm trying to say at Montreal. But you know what? Enough about him. Before we introduce that guy, let's talk about this young lad coming out of Germany itself, the motherland. It's Lambo. Julian Brozig, or is it Julian? It's just Julian, right?
I think it's just Julian.
I'm on the wrong side of the J
You psyched yourself
time.
off.
Yeah, I am.
Let's find down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have our blue Zerg player. It is Serral.
The names are so much cooler than it's like in America. Our names are like
Jonas.
You know, John, Dan, Matt, Kevin, and there's nobody that looks like goes like, is it Kevine? Is the I got an umlaut on top of it?
Aaron?
No, it's just
Aaron?
Yeah, no, sorry, yeah.
Key and Peele.
It's just exactly what it looks like. But for everyone else, they're like, what's your name? Hold on. You're like, oh, that's such a cool exotic name. What's your name? My name's Bob. What, like the hairstyle? Yeah. Bob.
To be fair, I think that in English, a lot of the words, or even some of the names, if you just look at the letters, they don't actually sound out the way you would expect them to. And there are a lot of languages that you look at how it's spelt out, and it's exactly as it's pronounced.
Yeah. Like your name Ravi with an A, but somehow it becomes a U.
Yeah. And that's why Starbucks just calls me Bobin.
Bobin?
So I go to Starbucks.
Bobin?
I actually tell people, my name is Ravi, R-A-V-I. One of these days, I actually got back a cup that said Bobin, B-O-B-E-N.
And you look at him, you're like, are you even trying?
No, the problem was I was just sitting there
of racism.
for an extra 2 minutes just hearing like, I got a venti soy chai for Bobin. I'm just like, that's my.
And you like look around.
That's my drink.
No
There's nobody else here. I'm like, maybe it was a pickup order.
Bobin. You're like, did you just decide that's my name? Yeah. Listen, Bobin, get out of here with your drink.
Finally, one of the people just looked at me. I was like, this is your drink, sir. I'm like, oh.
Oh.
Okay.
That's when you say, my name's Chad. You're like, well, Bobin sounds like that.
Close enough.
Close enough. 3 hatch for both players.
Yep. Both these players gonna be playing out a little bit more macro-oriented. We still got the Baneling nest come down here for Lambo. We'll see if Serral decides to skip it. Usually you don't if you're gonna go for that 3rd hatch so quickly.
He does not.
No, he does not. See, I thought about I could call myself out, or I could let you do it, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's teamwork.
Well,
it's letting you call me out.
The nice thing about commentating with me is that whether you call it out or I call it out, it's just gonna get called out. You know. It's just
we both know what's gonna happen.
Every mistake, every slip of the tongue, there's at least a chuckle coming. Get these rocks. Close the gate.
There's already 2 links.
Close the gate. Oh.
All right, well, they're going to get the basic scout. They see, okay, you got your Baneling nest. I think that he saw that 3rd base, so everything all par for the course for so far.
Par for the course.
Yeah, this is like a golf course. Yeah. It's a very green area. Is that the sound that a speedling makes?
Yep.
It's like a race car.
How jealous do you think Terran players are of watching a Ling zip around a base like that?
Well, they can scan, so.
Yeah, that's true.
That also, is instantaneous.
The Ling doesn't have like a grenade that throws at people.
Well,
just casual queen snipe.
Yeah. That's pretty nice for Serral. It's actually leading up on a surprising amount of supply right now. He's making a handful of Lings, and I think that Lambo is saving up a bit more for some of the Roach flooding that he's looking to do.
Well, he's
still
behind
no Roach Warren. I mean, still no Roach Warren for Serral.
10 drones, my man.
Okay.
That's where the advantage is, and that's ridiculous. But here we go. These Lings are going to try to equalize here a little bit.
And managed to get 4 workers, soon to be a few more, as the Lings still continue to get some more damage on. More Banelings come flooding forward, and I think that they're mostly just going to be buying a bit of space for the Lings to finally come forward.
13 Roaches in production.
So
there's no Roach Warren for Serral?
No Roach Warren for Serral.
Okay, he has dead. He has to be. He has to be.
I am never calling Serral dead.
I'm doing it.
Ever, until he's actually tapped out.
Like, Dr. Jeff, can he make it? And I look at him and say, no, he's dead. And they're like, but his vital signs are fine right now. He's okay. Like, no, you don't understand. I'm going to hit him in the head with this knife or something.
Isn't everyone dead if your point is just that they will eventually die?
That's true.
Well,
you've seen past my facade.
That fun moment when the Banelings are the things that scout the massive flood of Roaches moving across the map. He's building a Spine Crawler. He's building 3 Spine Crawlers, and I do like that decision in the situation, because he really needs something to help defend this 3rd.
Roaches just aggressively move in there. The space is very limited, so it's fine. So we're going to have some Banelings connecting with this stuff, but not even there. They get outranged by the Roaches. Good micro from Lambo. And they're going to soften up a bunch of these Roaches, but there is way too much, and that's what it looks like when Serral taps out and a dove cries.
All right, Serral just not quite getting scouting information that he needed to see that the Roaches were just going to be flooding across the map, and that 3rd base was never really saturated.
And if you were worried about 3-0s for the entire day, don't worry about it. It's at least going to be a 3-1.
It's at least going to be 1-3-1.
Yes.
And now Serral has dropped 2 maps this challenger, thereby making it not his best run.
You've been really harping on that every
I know. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Since this is the first time we've had a best of 5 that was not just a 3-0,
yeah,
we're going to go to a bit of a break before we go into game number 4. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more WCS European Challenger. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCS European Challenger. We're almost ready to move back into this series. I think we're just getting that lobby set up once again. Serral had a little bit of a bleed from that last game. Just a little bit. We got him a Band-Aid and he's good now.
Oh.
He's not actually bleeding. It was a metaphor.
That's what I was saying. I was like, oh. No. Good game. That was the best game of the day so far.
Was it?
It was, right? Oh no, the game before.
It was such a one-sided game that you forgot it happened.
No, the game before.
Yeah. Game 2 was great. Game 2 was fantastic. Game 3, Lambo at least getting one on the board, which is definitely going to feel good for him, but still not exactly a reliable way to win a game, right?
Pulled one over. You'll take him where you can get him against Serral. That is like one of the ways we've seen him lose so far. It has not been. He's never been outplayed, I guess, is what I would say. The whole Scarlet series, which is the most recent series where he lost 2 and it went to Game 5, was her outsmarting him or kind of outpicking him in terms of builds, but it did not feel like he was getting outplayed. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that we are hopefully getting into the game soon. Don't actually see... no, I see actually Serral... Well, Lambo's in a lobby, Serral's not, so we'll find out what's going on soon.
So close.
Very, very close. Game number 4. And of course, the winner of this is going to be moving on to the grand finals of WCS European Challenger, facing off versus the winner of Euthermal and Laser. What are your thoughts on that match?
I'd like to say that Euthermal has got a date with Destiny. Him and Serral would be a really great final. The Laser looked really strong in his series, of course. That was just a ZvZ. And he, like you guys said, has been having a little bit more of an up and down year, but I think it's less that his... I just feel like everyone caught up to him. Like last year, I think Laser was one of the absolute best, and I think he still is, but I think you've just got these other names that are really way up there with him. So it's really fun, and hopefully that's a good series. But it's also, if Serral wins this, is how nice is that for him, where he's like, okay, Euthermal, show me your TVZ, right? Otherwise, if he plays a Laser who somehow beats Euthermal, then it's just like, I've played 2 ZvZs to get ready for this one. That's fine.
That's very true. And remember that Euthermal was the other player that has taken a map off of Serral so far. Lambo, the one that just took one of them, but Euthermal took a map off of Serral earlier on in the groups, so showing that Serral... And actually, the way he did it also was with some really hyper-aggressive Hellbat attack, I think it was, versus Serral.
Hellbat medevac.
So we'll see if we can bust some other weird stuff like that out as we get ready to hop into game number 4 for Lambo versus Serral.
Hopefully you guys are having fun at home as well with us. These broadcasts have been really, really nice. Tomorrow we have the North American Finals. Some great players there as well. Neeb, Scarlet all made it through.
Scarlet, Semper, Puck, Masa. A lot of... I really am liking the NA bracket for Challenger.
We're going to see more cheese out of Masa for a Clown Fiesta, you think?
You know what? I actually think so, just because... I don't know that Masa's been practicing that much.
Okay.
Which is always what makes me think he's going to start doing better.
Yeah, whenever a cheeser isn't playing that much, they become the most cheesy.
All right, well, we're going to be starting down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. On top of the red Zerg player, he is Lambo. And spawning up here in the top left, we have our blue Zerg player from Team NC Sports. It's Serral.
And how do you say his name?
Serral?
No, the J.
Jonas.
With an S?
No, Yona. Yona. I feel like I always hear a Laser say Jonas, but I think it is just Yona. I think that I might just be mishearing it.
Well, yeah. There's no S.
I think it's just Yona.
Even in Poland, where they add Z's, Y's, X's, and W's to everything, you can't add an S to that.
No.
It's just not one.
Pretty sure it's just Yona. So, in this game, we got both these players going for the good old hatch gas pool. Not going to be opening up with any kind of crazy all-in or anything. That's also the other funny thing. I feel like for a little bit, my big hope was that, oh, you know, the best chance you have versus someone like Serral is the 13-12 or some kind of 12 pool or something. But it rarely seems to work on him anyways.
Yeah. You know, last game, though, Lambo didn't really... obviously, the Roach timing is on the aggressive side, but it's not super clever or like crazy cheese. That's something that people do. Serral just, as you pointed out at the end of last game, just kind of didn't get the scouting information, which he almost always does, and it cost him. And it wasn't even like a tiny, tiny map. There's really nothing to look at and blame. It's just something that can happen in this matchup. So I kind of like that Lambo, still down 1-2, by the way, doesn't go super crazy in this game, because I think that's predictable. I think he just says, okay, well, last game we started off doing the same thing, and then I'm the one that broke the tempo a little bit and took a big lead from it and won. Let's see if I can do it again.
Yeah. I think the funny thing is also, once you make it into the top 4 for Challenger, you're kind of just okay if you face off versus Serral. Like, I'm just going to do my best.
Yeah. They already qualified, if you're wondering, for those of you at home. If you win that first match of today, you just got an all-expenses-paid trip to Montreal. Not bad.
Definitely not bad. And
so they're fighting for prize money and more WCS points, which is a big deal. Those points that we always point out are hard to come by.
Indeed. And of course, if you can do very well and even just take a couple of games off of Serral or something, really get a good showing going, then hey, going into Montreal, probably gonna have a lot more confidence in yourself. You're gonna be feeling a lot better. Like, you know what, I am playing really well right now.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of lings flooding out here for Lambo. That Baneling Nest on the way. We do have a decent number of lings coming out for Serral as well. Both these players going to be sitting on relatively even army count for now, but there are quite a few more workers that Serral made instead of lings.
Well, found.
Yeah, seeing all those Banelings morphing in aggressively is a pretty big tell. Well, Serral starting up an Evolution Chamber as a part of, I think, a potential wall. We'll see if he gets an upgrade with that.
Yeah. And here comes the Pain Train as it makes its way over here 2 at a time. Queen's looking for the snipe. They're not going to get it yet, though.
No, one of the Banelings already going down for both sides, though. They end up trading out 2 for 2.
Drone's behind us for Lambo. Bailing out.
Playing catch-up. Actually going to be playing more than catch-up.
What's he playing? Mustard?
Yes. You threw me off because I thought when you were saying what's he playing, I thought you were like catch the game or something, playing catch.
Yeah. Would you call it that?
But then you went to mustard. And I was thrown off.
It's multi-layered, man.
Like a sandwich. I wish you guys could see the look that Jeff gives me when I say stuff. All right, well, the game is more or less, I think, going to kind of even out from here. Both these players are going to be going back into droning. Lambo, of course, he's going to have a slight drone lead for a little bit, but usually the Zerg players will try and get to roughly the same number of drones, around like 54 or something, before they really start flooding out a lot more units. They have those Ro4s finishing up, or at least one of them does. Lambo, a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah.
And a few drones.
Really good drone control. Like, he was always going to lose some stuff there, but because he did a really interesting hold position at first, he actually only lost the 1 or 2 drones that Serral focused down, and then he got him out of there. So a nice handling of situation. Obviously, it's not super ideal, but in a bad spot like that, he did the right stuff.
Yeah, none of these players are going to be committing to those roaches just yet. Really just putting it off for as long as possible as they get up that +1 missile attack upgrade. And Serral just continues to kind of dance around the map, trying to keep his opponent busy, getting a few Baneling connections here and there. Oh, small little trades.
Working on him.
Yeah, but Serral's out of Banelings now, so he's going to have a hard time pushing too much further forward. Lambo gets a really nice scout into the main base and even sneaks those lings into the corner. I'm not sure if Serral's aware of them this time.
Yeah, no Queen making his way over there.
Serral's a little bit busy, just focused on this aggression. Almost gets that Baneling, but he's going to find an opportunity to move into the main base and maybe get some scouting information. Sees a handful of these roaches popping out. Sees 3 drones sitting next to a gas geyser.
Yeah, a little bit of misclick there.
Well, that's really unfortunate. Okay, there he notices it. A couple of Banelings being made with those 2 lings that snuck by, though. Serral does not realize this in time. He could end up suffering some pretty big drone losses, and I love that he's going to try and time this out at the same time he moves forward with some of these lings in the main or the front. There's the Queen trying to snap away, but 4 drones go down. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Lambo finishes his upgrades. They're on equal footing there. Army supply is still very in favor of Serral. That's a problem.
And a lot of those, that army supply upgrade, or army supply is coming in from just the roaches. Now Lambo is getting out his own roaches, and he's getting them out in slightly larger numbers, so he will start to catch up here. Not going to be the end of the world. Both these players have their 4th bases. It really does seem like it's kind of turned into a very even game.
Yeah.
One of the things that we did see in the other game that went to the later stages was when it gets up to the much, much later stages of the game, it did seem like Serral was able to take a lot of better engagements, especially when it came down to like when Vipers and stuff got involved. Serral was just a lot better with a ton of those engagements. Lambo was good at getting a lot of the concaves and stuff, which I think does factor in a little bit more in the earlier stages with like Roach versus Roach.
Overseer sees everything. It's a pretty quick hive, by the way, from Lambo.
What? Hive?
Was it not?
No. No infestation pit down yet.
You know what? It's hard for me because I'm a
That would be a very quick
I'm a
hive.
multi-dimensional being, so like right now you see a layer, but I already kind of see the different pathways.
That's gonna go to hive. I believe you.
Yeah.
It's because when you crunch the numbers like Jeff does, you already see where the game is going.
Well, I see where the game's going. I see where it's been. I see where it is. You know what I mean? So it's hard to choose which one we're even talking about.
You know, I really thought that would be a power of Time Bones, but
He has it too.
oh, okay.
Yeah, Time Bones actually invented time. I just merely kind of like
Adopted it.
exist within it. Yeah.
You molded by it.
We are all. I mean, we all are, right? Some better than others, I would say. You think you're gonna get better with time, Fear Dragon?
Can you get better with time? I think a lot of people get better with time.
Yeah, but not everyone. Some people get, you know, their skin doesn't age well, or they become more set in their ways. Is there a better Fear Dragon in the near future?
I don't know, Jeff. I'm only 19, as you brought up earlier.
That's right.
I can only go up from here.
Or 1964 too, which is crazy.
1964. That's the 19th score. Okay, well, a massive surround over here from Serral. Comes in from both angles. Is going to be able to do a lot of damage here. Lambo on a bit of a retreat, but he is sniping off a lot of the Ravagers for Serral. Does he have enough to back at home? It does seem like with the production coming out, he should be okay for now. But both these players going for those burrow and tunneling claws, and Serral being the one already on the aggressive front, seems like he's going to be better prepared to use it.
Could be. Definitely want to be aggressive there, but I love this Overseer shadowing the army. Very hard to hit with the Corrosive Biles, but here we go. You were talking about this, and it's going to move out. And this has been the finisher move so far in ZvZ.
Well, for a moment, I thought he was going to try and unburrow and surround those roaches, but no, he's just going to go for the big attack.
Yeah. No, he saw his mate. Oh, wow. If he could snipe that, and he will.
No tunneling claws for you, Lambo. Not going to be able to utilize those burrowed roaches.
No detection here, too.
Where is that Overseer you're talking about? There it is. Well, he's going to be able to snipe off some of these, but they're still the ones in the main base getting some damage done. Serral, yeah, he's moving over to the 4th base now.
Jeez Louise. This move has been devastating. I feel like these guys got to kind of catch up to it. It's not an easy one to defend anyways, but just both times, or 3 times, excuse me, that I think we've seen, it's been the end of the game. Like, that kind of damage.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily game-ending damage just yet. 17 workers killed, yes, and Lambo is very far down, but he's still at 51. That's, I feel like, still recoverable territory because he's still taking okay trades for, oh, I guess not as much anymore, but he was taking some okay trades.
Yeah.
Hydra gets canceled over there. Lambo is going to still have a decent amount of army supply, but nope, that's going to be it.
Serral just, like, shoved him over, took his milk, took his money, and then Fear Dragon is like watching that is like, you know what, that was an okay trade.
It's so difficult when you're watching Serral. It's just so difficult because that was such a straightforward game for the most part. There was not a ton of weirdness or craziness that was going on in terms of, oh, you know, this guy did a lot of damage when he took a lot of damage, or there's these interesting trades. It was more just both of these players went up to these like 3 or 4 base situations. Neither of them took a ton of damage. They did little bits and pieces of damage to each other. And then Serral got up his tunneling claws and burrowed roach a little bit faster and was just really able to capitalize on it.
Well, you nailed it. By being aggressive, he was in position to be the first one to deliver that move. Eerily, on the production tab, I mean, Lambo was behind 10 seconds maybe on that upgrade, but just those roaches went right over there. And kudos to Serral, by the way, too, because a lot of times when you see that situation, your eyes are on, if I get roaches into both mineral lines and I kill 20 drones, that's it, game over. I don't care what he does, but he did get to do that, and he got to deny that tech and kill the roach warren, which we talked about that from the upgrade perspective, but that's also roach production perspective, and both players are reinforcing so fast. If you lose the roach warren, you're behind several cycles, and that other player can take the win that way as well. Very nicely done by Serral.
Really, really well done. And he's going to be moving on to the grand finals. Is this what everyone predicted? Yes. But Lambo still put up a pretty good fight there in that second game, as well as, of course, being able to take a map off of Serral. But now Serral moves on to face off versus the winner of our next match, Euthermal versus a Laser. Hopefully going to be the match that, you know, actually that's so funny. The match that broke the 3-0 curse was actually a Serral match. Wouldn't have expected that.
We'll see you guys soon.